Most businesses spend money chasing the same customer over and over again. This one doesn't have to. The customer comes back on their own every 6 weeks without you lifting a finger to convince them. That single fact changes the entire math of this business, and almost nobody explains why it matters this much. We're talking about dog grooming, run from your own home with no van, no storefront, and a starting budget that is genuinely within reach. Here's the mechanism that makes this business different from almost everything else we've covered on this channel. A dog needs bathing, trimming, and nail care roughly every 4 to 8 weeks for its entire life. That is not a one-time sale. That is not a customer who might come back. That is a customer whose return visit is biologically scheduled before they even leave your driveway the first time. Once you have 40 regular clients on a 6-week rotation, you already know roughly what next month looks like before it happens. Almost no service business gives you that kind of visibility this early. Now, the part that makes this realistic to start. Forget what you've heard about grooming vans costing $50,000, because that number is for an entirely different business model. A home-based setup where clients bring the dog to you is the actual entry point most successful groomers never talk about publicly because it sounds less impressive than a flashy van. It is not less profitable, it is just less Instagrammable. Here is what your budget actually buys. A proper grooming table with a grooming arm and noose, $150 to $250. A bathtub setup, if you don't already have a usable tub or laundry sink, $300 to $800. Though many groomers start by using their existing bathroom setup with a raised platform and skip this cost entirely in month 1. A heavy-duty dryer built for pet coats, not a human hair dryer, $200 to $400. Clippers and a few blade sizes, $200 to $300. Shears, combs, and brushes, $150. Shampoo and conditioner concentrate, which lasts months when diluted properly, $100. Safety and sanitation supplies, $50. A simple liability waiver template and a business license, somewhere between $50 and $200, depending on your city. All in, a realistic working setup costs between $1,200 and $2,500. That is the actual number for someone starting smart, not the $50,000 van fantasy that scares most people away from a genuinely accessible business. Let's talk pricing, because this is where new groomers consistently leave money on the table. A basic bath, brush, and nail trim for a small to medium dog runs $40 to $60. A full groom, bath, haircut, nail trim, ear cleaning runs $65 to $100, depending on breed and coat complexity. Large or heavily coated breeds, think golden retrievers or huskies during shedding season, command $85 to $120 because the labor time roughly doubles. And here's the detail almost nobody mentions. Matted dogs and difficult-to-handle dogs are not problems. They're pricing opportunities. A matted dog that takes you an extra 45 minutes should cost an extra $25 to $40. Charge for the difficulty. Groomers who absorb that extra time for free are the ones that burn out within a year. Now, here's the number that actually matters, more than any single price point. At 4 appointments a day, 5 days a week, averaging $75 per dog, that's $1,500 a week, $6,000 a month in gross revenue. Subtract supplies at roughly $6 to $8 per dog, so under $200 a month total. No rent, no van payment, no fuel beyond your own errands. Your real take-home margin on this business sits at 60 to 80%, which is dramatically higher than almost every other business we've covered, precisely because you eliminated the 2 biggest costs other service businesses carry, a vehicle and commercial rent. Here is how you fill that schedule without spending $1 on ads. Start with your own dog if you have one, or borrow a friend's dog for a free practice groom. Take before and after photos in good light, post them in local Facebook groups and Nextdoor with your pricing and availability clearly listed. Pet owners and neighborhood groups engage with grooming transformation photos at a noticeably higher rate than almost any other local service post. Set up a free Google business profile immediately. Once you have 5 reviews, you appear for dog groomer near me searches, and that becomes your most reliable lead source within a few months. And this is the move almost nobody uses early on. Partner with one local veterinarian or one pet store. Offer to leave a small stack of business cards or a referral arrangement. Vets and pet store employees get asked, "Do you know a good groomer?" constantly, and you want to be the name they say. Now, what actually kills new grooming businesses? Because the failure pattern here is very specific. Underpricing out of fear of losing clients. New groomers consistently price $10 to $20 below market because they're nervous about competing. This backfires in exactly one way every time. It attracts the most demanding, least loyal clients, and it makes raising prices later feel impossible because your existing base anchors to that low number. Price at the market rate from day one. The clients that leave over a fair price were never going to be loyal anyway. Skipping skill development. No state requires a grooming license, which means the barrier to calling yourself a groomer is essentially zero, and that is exactly why non-trained groomers get weeded out fast through bad reviews and injured dogs. Get hands-on training before you take paying clients, even if that means working under an experienced groomer for a few months first, or completing a recognized certification. Clients can tell the difference within one appointment, and word spreads in pet communities faster than almost anywhere else. No liability waiver. Dogs bite. Dogs have skin reactions to products. Dogs occasionally get injured during a groom through no fault of the groomer. A one-page waiver, signed at every single appointment, protects you from a dispute turning into a real financial problem. Taking every dog that calls. Aggressive or extremely anxious dogs that you're not equipped to safely handle are not worth the booking. The 5 minutes it takes to ask the right questions on the phone before you schedule saves you from the appointments that end badly for everyone, including the dog. Here is your path beyond solo operation. Once your own schedule is consistently full, the next step is not necessarily a second location. It's adding a second groomer working in your space on different days or different hours, splitting the booking fee with them, which lets you serve double the clients without doubling your own hours. From there, some home-based groomers eventually convert into a small commercial space once their client list outgrows the constraints of a residential zoning permit. At that point, you're stepping into the salon model with a built-in client base that didn't cost you a single advertising dollar to acquire. And if you ever want to exit, an established grooming client list with consistent repeat bookings is a genuinely transferable asset. A buyer isn't just purchasing equipment, they're purchasing a list of clients who already return every 6 weeks without being asked. That recurring relationship is exactly what makes a small service business sellable instead of just a job you walk away from. A grooming table, a few $100s in supplies, and a customer base that returns on a schedule you don't have to manage. That's the part of this business almost nobody talks about, and it's the part that makes it worth a serious look. If breakdowns like this help you think through real options, subscribe to the channel. Every video, we take one real business, dig into the actual numbers, and show you exactly what it takes to build it from the ground up.